Who Goes There by John Campbell.
Man, it's getting colder every day.
Another week and we'll be snowed in.
All right, settle down now.
So what now, Commander?
Yeah, do we actually get a chance to look at the thing? What's the story?
I'll leave that one to McReady. He knows more about this thing than any of the rest of us. Mac?
Thank you, Commander. Magnetic anomaly it appeared around 50 miles north of the pole. Speculation was it was a ship of some kind, landed quarter million years ago. It came from space, driven by forces men haven't discovered, and yet somehow something went wrong. It tangled with Earth's magnetic field and went out of control, circling the pole. That's a savage country there, but when Antarctica was still freezing, and must have been 1,000 times more savage.
And I don't have to remind any of you that we are all government employees and subject to the Operational Security Act, and that this discovery is marked top secret.
Wouldn't have anything to do with the fact that the Antarctic is an open continent that we are meant to share and share alike.
Yeah, and it might just be a bit. Of course, the small fact that the Norwegian army managed to destroy what we found while trying to get it out of the ice just might have something to do with it too,
So it's not just a rumor? There was a ship?
There was a ship, sunk pretty deep into the ice, but we were able to access it.
But you couldn't analyze it. I mean, didn't anyone there realize that? What did they use?
Thermite. The Norwegian army and the Navy, well, they use it to free icebound ships.
Yeah, and the Norwegian army uses it to destroy them.
Someone wanted them to move fast before anyone else got in on the act.
Well, now we'll never know. Right, Commander?
No, I'm afraid not.
1 million-year-old spacecraft. Lost.
But we got the driver.
Yeah, but we don't know if we want him.
Kinner.
Yeah, where did you find it, Mac?
200 meters or so from the craft. My best guess is it got out for some reason. Maybe it was injured, maybe just confused.
And it froze.
Solid.
Given that the ship was 1 million years old, then you realize that this thing is also... No, I just can't conceive of that.
Well, we're scientists. We can conceive anything. It's our job to dream, Doc, and make those dreams concrete.
Yeah, I'll settle for thick ice.
Well, now that's the question, isn't it?
What?
Well, Blair wants to examine it. Thaw it out, take samples.
You're out of your tiny mind, Blair.
And you're the cook, Kinner, not a scientist. The rest of us are. Look, we have an isolation lab and we have remote tools, anything we might need. It's just dead meat. Even you should be able to work that out.
Hold on. How do we know it's not in some kind of suspended animation?
Well, because it is impossible. The beast itself is dead.
Well, there are microscopic forms out there that freeze in the winter and animate in spring.
Yes, mosses and lichens. Nothing this complex can survive. That I'm sure of.
But microlife could. We may release germs that Terrans, never having met before, would be utterly defenseless against.
You're a doctor. You know that non-terrestrial microorganisms can't cross over. Man cannot infect or be infected by germs that live in such comparatively close relatives as, say, snakes. And they are, I assure you, much nearer to us than that.
Okay, say its bugs do have a different body chemistry. How are you so sure that of the million varieties of microscopic life it may have, none of them are dangerous? How about diseases like rabies that attacks any warm-blooded creature, whatever its body chemistry may be? Or parrot fever? Do you have a body like a parrot, Blair? Oh, and don't forget hoof and mouth disease, pox virus, cat scratch disease, E. coli. Should I go on about bugs that aren't choosy about body chemistry?
There is no shared genetic inheritance, so no danger. For once, the phrase "not of this earth" is positive.
Different chemistry be damned. That thing may be dead or it may not, but I don't like it. Damn it, Blair. Let them see the foul thing and decide for themselves whether they want it thawed out in this camp. Thawed out, by the way, in one of the shacks tonight, if it is to be thawed out. Well, then, Connant, you get to sit up with that million-year-old mummy of his. May have a different chemistry. I don't know what else it has, but I know it has something I don't want. If you can judge by the look on its face.
It isn't human. You can't judge it by human standards.
They haven't seen those 3 red eyes, the blue hair like crawling worms. Nothing Earth ever spawned had the unutterable, devastating wrath that thing let loose in its face when it looked around this frozen desolation 1,000,000 years ago. That thing was mad clear through, searing, blistering mad. I've had bad dreams ever since I looked at those 3 red eyes. Nightmares. Dreaming of the thing thawed out and coming to life, that it wasn't dead or even wholly unconscious all those 1,000,000 years, but just slowed, waiting. You'll dream too while that damned thing that the Earth wouldn't own is dripping in the base tonight. Oh, and Connant, won't you have fun sitting up all night in the quiet, wind howling above and that thing dripping.
Norris! We're not stuck in an old horror movie here. We're in the modern world and you are a scientist.
I know, but this is science. It's psychology. You'll have nightmares for years to come. Every night since I looked at that thing, I've had him. And that's why I hate it. Sure I do. And don't want it around. Put it back where it came from and let it freeze for another 1,000,000 years. I had some swell nightmares that it wasn't made like we are, which is obvious, but of a different kind of flesh that it can really control. That it can change its shape and look like a man and wait to kill and eat.
It's not a logical argument.
I know it isn't.
So, it's dream infectious, no doubt an exceedingly dangerous malady.
I think Blair is right. People, what do you say?
Well, it sounds right to us. I think only perhaps he ought to stand watch over it while it's thawing. Swell idea, in fact. Let Blair set up with his happy little corpse.
I should think any ghost it may have had would have starved to death by now, Connant. And you look capable of taking care of it. Iron Man Connant ought to be take out any opposing players, yes?
I'm not worrying about ghosts. Let's see that thing.
It makes me feel like I'm falling into a nest of spiders.
That's just your natural protective reaction. You don't know what it is, so you fear it and want to destroy it.
Yeah, I'd go for that. Why don't we leave it as is till we get back to civilization?
I'm sure I can see 3 eyes in there, and they're looking out at me.
Dinner. Why don't you go make dinner?
Yeah, maybe it's hungry, Kenner. You could cook up one of your casseroles for it. Though come to think of it, it kind of looks like one of your casseroles.
Oh, ha ha.
I'll admit we could do a better and more complete job at home, but how are we going to get this across the line? We have to take this through one temperate zone, the equatorial zone, and halfway through another temperate zone before we get it to Denver. And you don't want to sit with it one night, but you suggest then that I hang its corpse in the freezer with the beef.
Hey, you listen, mister. You put that thing in the box with the meat, and by all the gods there ever were, I'll put you in too. Keep company. The slobs have brought everything movable in this camp onto my mess tables here, and I'd had to stand for that. But you go putting things like that in my meat box, and you cook your own damn grub.
Dinner, this is the only table in Big Magnet that's big enough to work on. Everyone's explained that.
Yeah, and everybody's brought everything in here. Connant brings in the dogs every time there's a fight and sews them up on that table. Hell, the only thing you haven't had on that table is the Boeing, and you had had that in if you could have figured out a way to get it through the tunnels.
It does get crowded, Kinner, but I'm afraid we all find it that way at times. Not much privacy in an Antarctic camp.
Privacy? What the hell's that? Why can't you then hang the thing up over the power plant boiler? That's warm enough. It'll thaw out a chicken, even a whole side of beef in a few hours.
Yeah, I know. But this is too important to take any chances. There never was a find like this. There never can be again. It's the only chance Earth will ever have, and it has to be done exactly right. Look, you know how the fish we caught down near the Ross Sea would freeze almost as soon as we got them back on deck and come to life again?
Hey, for the love of heaven, you mean that damn thing's gonna come to life? You get the axe. Let me at it. That thing is gonna be in so many pieces.
No, you fool. No. Just low forms of life. For Pete's sake, let me finish, okay? You can't thaw higher forms of life and have them come too.
How do you know?
Wait a minute, Connant. Blair, I want to get this straight. I agree there's going to be no thawing of this thing if there's even the remotest chance of its revival. I quite agree it is much too unpleasant to have alive, but I had no idea there was the remotest possibility that it would just...
Wait a minute, hold on. A fish can come to after freezing because it's so low a form of life that the individual cells of its body can revive. And that alone is enough to reestablish life. Any higher forms thawed out that way are dead. Though the individual cells revive, they die because there must be organization and cooperative effort to live. That cooperation cannot be established. It can't, I repeat, cannot, under any circumstances, become active, under any circumstances, become active life in higher animals. The higher animals are too complex, too delicate. This is an intelligent creature as high in its evolution as we are in ours, perhaps higher. It's as dead as a frozen human would be.
Blair, he's being technical. The thing is dead. It's as dead as the woolly mammoths they find frozen in Siberia. Potential life is like atomic energy there, but nobody can get to it. It certainly won't release itself except for in rare cases, as rare as radium in a chemical analogy. I mean, we have all sorts of proof that things don't live after being frozen, not even fish. Generally speaking, I mean, there's no proof that higher animal life can under any circumstances. I mean, what's the point of a slow thaw, Blair?
The point is that the individual cells might show the characteristics they had in life. If it is properly thawed. A human's muscle cells live many hours after they have died. Just because they live, and a few things like hair and fingernail cells still live, you wouldn't accuse a corpse of being a zombie. Now, if I thaw this right, maybe I might have a chance to determine what sort of world it's native to, whether it came from Earth or from beyond the stars. Moreover, just because it looks unhuman, you don't have to accuse it of being evil or vicious or something. Maybe that expression on its face is it's equivalent to a resignation to fate.
Peaceful resignation. If that is the best it could do in the way of resignation, I should exceedingly dislike seeing it when it was looking mad. That face was never designed to express peace. It just didn't have the philosophical thoughts like peace in its makeup. I know it's your pet, but be sane about this. The thing grew up on evil, spent the adolescence slowly roasting alive the local equivalent of kittens, and amused itself through maturity on new and ingenious forms of torture.
You haven't the slightest right to say that. How do you know the first thing about the meaning of a facial expression inherently inhuman? It may well have no human equivalent whatsoever. That is just a different development of nature, another example of nature's wonderful adaptability. Growing on another, perhaps harsher world, it has different form and features, but it is just as much a legitimate child of nature as you are. You are displaying the human weakness of hating the different. On its own world, it would probably class you as a fish-bellied white monstrosity with an insufficient number of eyes and a fungoid body pale and bloated with gas.
It may be that things from other worlds don't have to be evil just because they're different, but that thing is. Child of nature, eh? Well, it was a hell of an evil nature.
Oh, well, you milks quit crabbing at each other and get the damn thing off my table and put a canvas over it. It looks indecent.
Kinner's gone modest. And what were you complaining about a minute ago? We can set the thing in a chair next to you tonight if you want.
I'm not afraid of its face. I don't like keeping watch over its corpse particularly, but I'm gonna do it. Blair! Blair, wake up! It's gone!
What's happening?
Get up and get a move on it, Blair! Your damned animal has escaped.
Escaped? What?
Oh, what the hell's the matter?
Blair's damn beast got loose. I fell asleep about 20 minutes ago, and when I woke up, the thing was gone. Hey, Tuck, the hell you say those things can't come to life? Blair's blasted potential life developed a hell of a lot of potential and walked out on us.
You were supposed to watch it.
No, I was supposed to be here, but I'm not watching it. I mean, the ice got clear like glass. I kept thinking it was alive in there.
Calm down, all right?
I went to sleep, but there were dreams. I couldn't get away, like it was inside me, but sort of different, sort of, I can't explain. I mean, I was trying to wake up and then I did, and it wasn't there. The ice was melted, broken, and it's gone.
Well, we have to find it.
Not me, pal. You find it. I had all I want of it.
Can't a person at least try to get some sleep?
Oh, sorry, Blair's pet just went AWOL.
You're joking. You're not joking.
Has anybody seen it come through here? You know, about 4 feet tall, 3 red eyes.
I didn't carry it off in my arms, I assure you.
Hey, has anybody checked to make sure this isn't a cracked idea of humor? And if it is, I think we'll tie Blair's pet around Connant's neck like the ancient mariner's albatross.
I wish it were a joke. I'd rather wear it around
Don't
my
you
neck.
see we have to find it? It could be confused, lost.
It could be a lot of things, Blair, but what it shouldn't be is alive, yes?
Okay, I was wrong. Insufficient data, but this is. Think about what it must know. How much it could tell us. Look, this makes everything else like nothing. We have to. Oh, they could tear it to pieces.
I don't care about your creature. What about my dogs?
No, it mustn't be harmed. No matter what happens, we have to preserve it.
I think it's been located. No, that can't be.
You want to tell me what
Oh, don't shoot. We have to try to communicate.
Dead, I hope. Connant, get those dogs back in. Look out!
Get out of the way now! Flamethrower coming through!
Thanks, Mac.
Oh, no, I got the fire extinguisher.
Okay, Blair, you can cut it out now.
I don't think it will be telling us anything.
Could somebody please help me with the dogs?
Yeah, I'm coming. But first, is anybody hurt, Commander?
No, no, it's just a scratch.
Of course, you can put the corpse of that thing on my table. Thank you for asking. Coffee coming up. Anyone for coffee? Oh, what about you, Mr. Thing? Coffee for you?
Guess it really is dead.
Coffee?
Yes, thanks. I think we could all use some.
You sure it's dead now?
Don't ask me. It killed 3 of the dogs, and the rest aren't going to be pulling any sleds for a while.
I'm sorry.
Do we know any more, Blair?
Well, I have a feeling that what we saw first.
The thing in the ice.
Yes. I'm not even sure that was its original form.
Come again?
Well, look here. This appears to be a dog leg.
Well, he must have ripped it off.
I don't recall that.
Well, you're right, Doctor. You don't.
Would somebody tell me what the hell you're getting at?
Sorry, Kenner. What I am saying is that this creature did tear a bit out of one of the dogs and ingested it, analyzed it, and started growing a dog leg.
That is nuts. Isn't it?
Looks like a dog leg. It even feels like one. The fur seems real. Touch it and see.
No way.
But it isn't. It's something else.
What is it, Blair?
I don't know. Some kind of protoplasmic intelligence, a sort of super chameleon. It changes shape as well as colors. It absorbs organic tissue and breaks it down, molds it.
Never heard of anything like this.
Well, this isn't wildly beyond what we already know. It's just a modification we haven't seen before. It's as natural, as logical as any other manifestation of life. That, for instance, isn't dog, it's imitation.
Imitation?
That's not possible.
So, what are you saying, Blair?
Well, some parts I'm certain about. The nucleus was hiding itself, covering up with dog cell, imitation nucleus. At time, not even a microscope would have shown the difference.
I suppose it had more time.
Well, then it would have been a dog. The other dogs would have accepted it. We would have accepted it. I don't think anything would have distinguished it, not microscope, nor X-ray, nor any other means. This is a member of a supremely intelligent race, a race that has learned the deepest secrets of biology and turned them to its use.
Imagine what this thing could do.
Take over the world.
Take over the world? Just it all by itself, set it up as a lone dictator.
No. It would become the population of the world.
And every time it digested something and imitated it.
I'd like to see it take on an orca. It would get torn to pieces.
Nothing could kill it. It has no natural enemies because it becomes whatever it wants to. If an orca attacked, it would become an orca. If it were an albatross, an eagle attacked it, it would become an eagle. Lord, it might become a female eagle, go back to its nest and lay eggs.
You sure this thing from hell is dead?
Yes, thank heaven. It's dead and cooked.
Then we can only give thanks that this is Antarctica, where there is not one single solitary living thing for it to imitate, except these animals in camp.
No, except us. It can imitate us. Dogs can't make it 400 miles to the sea. There's no food. There aren't any gulls to imitate it this season, and there aren't any penguins this far inland. There's nothing that can reach the sea from this point except us. We've got the brains. We can do it. Don't you see? It's got to imitate us. It's got to become one of us. That's the only way that it can fly an airplane, fly a plane for 2 hours and be all of Earth's inhabitants.
Blair, let me give you a sedative.
Well, a world for the taking. It didn't know yet. It hadn't had a chance to learn. It was rushed, hurried, looking for the thing nearest its own size. Look, I'm Pandora. I opened the box, and the only hope that can come out of it is that nothing can come out. You didn't see me. I did it. I fixed it. I smashed every magneto. Not a plane can fly. Nothing can fly. Hey!
He might come out of it when he wakes up. It all depends on whether we convince him that thing is dead.
Connant. Where's Connant?
Here I am, Blair. What do you want?
Are you?
What? Am I what?
Are you there? Are you, Connant? You were with the dogs. You dreamed it. The beast wanted to be a human, not a dog.
You missed the spares, the second cachet. It's all right. I smashed him. Blair's hopeless. I don't know. I don't think we can ever convince him that the thing is dead now.
I'm not sure you can convince me. Nightmares. I had a theory about the nightmares we've had after finding that thing.
And that was?
That the creature wasn't dead, had a sort of enormously slowed existence, an existence that permitted it, nonetheless, to be vaguely aware of the passing of time, of our coming after endless years. And I had a dream it could imitate things.
Well, it can.
And that's not what's bothering me. In the dream, it could read minds, read thoughts and ideas, and exhibit mannerisms.
Well, what's so bad about that? It seems to be worrying you more than the thought of the joy we're going to have with a madman in an Antarctic camp.
Listen, I think I understand. We know that Connant is Connant because, well, she not merely looks like Connant, which we're beginning to believe that beast might be able to do, but thinks like Connant, talks like Connant. It moves itself around as Connant does. And that takes more than merely a body that looks like her. I mean, that takes Connant. It takes Connant's own mind and thoughts, mannerisms. Therefore, I mean, though you know that thing might make itself look like Connant, you aren't much bothered. You're not bothered because you know it has a mind from another world, a totally unhuman mind. That couldn't possibly react and think and talk like a person we know, right? And do it so well as to fool us for a moment. I mean, the idea of the creature imitating one of us is fascinating, but unreal because it's too completely unhuman to deceive us.
McReady, you say the damnedest things at the damnedest times. Would you be so good as to finish that thought one way or the other?
Look, we do no good to merely look like something that was trying to imitate it. It would have to understand its feelings, its reaction. It is inhuman. It has powers of imitation beyond any conception of man. A good actor, by training himself, can imitate other people. Another person's mannerisms well enough to fool most people. Of course, no actor could imitate so perfectly as to deceive those who had been living with the imitated one in the complete lack of privacy of an Antarctic camp, right? I mean, that would take a superhuman power.
Man, will you two shut up? What am I, some kind of a microscopic specimen you're dissecting? Some unpleasant worm you're discussing in the third person?
Connant, you've got one thing we haven't.
And what is that?
You know what you are. I'll tell you this, right now, you're the most feared and respected person here.
I wish you could see your eyes. Stop staring, will you? What the hell are you gonna do?
Have you any suggestions, Dr. Norris? The present situation seems impossible.
Oh, is it? Come over here and take a look at that crowd. By heaven, they look exactly like that gang of huskies around the corridor bend.
Microscopic examination would be useless, as Blair pointed out.
What about Connie in the meantime? I'm going out that door, head off for the Ross Sea before I cook for her.
Now, Connie may be human.
Maybe human, you damn sawbones. What in the hell do you think I am?
A monster. Now shut up and listen. If you are unhuman, you are a lot more dangerous than poor Blair there, and I'm going to see that he's locked up thoroughly. I expect that his next stage will be a violent desire to kill you, the rest of the dogs, and probably all of us. When he wakes, he'll be convinced we're all unhuman, and nothing on the planet will ever change his conviction. It would be kinder to let him die, but we can't do that, of course. He's going in the shack.
I'm human. Your eyes. I wish you could see your eyes staring.
You were with the dogs, Connie. We have to be sure.
I'm sure. I mean, if I
And
was
not-
some kind of...
Just about you.
What? No, McReady, you can't. They're innocent. It's not their fault. You can't. No.
Only one way to be sure.
Oh no, McReady!
Don't get too close!
Look at them. Is that how you want to end up?
Norris, have you come up with a test yet?
I haven't, although there was something.
What are we going to do with Blair in the meantime? It's all right to let him sleep where he is for a while, but when he wakes up...
Connant and Connor. Connant, they're fitting some bolts on the door of the shack.
How is Connie?
Connant's minding her manners for the moment. I think perhaps the way the others look at her makes her rather want privacy.
Blair will also have to have privacy and locks. He's going to have a pretty definite plan in mind when he wakes up. Have you ever heard the old story of how to stop mad cow disease in cattle?
Maybe a long time ago.
You get rid of it by killing every animal that exhibits it and every animal that's been near the diseased animal. Blair's a biologist. He knows that story. He's afraid of this thing we loosed, and the answer is probably pretty clear in his mind now. Kill everybody and everything in this camp before a schoolgirl or a wandering albatross coming in with the spring chances out this way and catches the disease.
Sounds logical to me. Things get too bad, maybe we better let Blair get loose. And it would save us committing suicide at least, right? You might as well make something of a vow if things get bad. We see that doesn't happen.
The last human alive in Big Magnet wouldn't be a human. Now, somebody's got to kill those creatures. They don't desire to kill themselves, you know. We don't have enough thermite to do it all at once, and the mining explosive wouldn't help much. I have an idea that even the smallest piece of one of those beings would be self-sufficient.
Will Blair be able to look after himself in that shack?
Oh, he'll be capable enough. We'll be the ones to watch out for. Take a stove, a couple bags of coal, necessary supplies, and a couple of tools to fix it up.
If he gets noisy, I thought it might be a good idea to keep him separate.
If the muttering he's doing now is any sign, he's going to sing away the night hours, and we won't like his song.
What's he saying?
If you want to learn the details, go listen in on Blair's broadcast. By the way, Commander, what are we going to do this spring now that the planes are out of it?
I'm afraid our expedition is going to be a loss. It's going to be a complete loss.
It won't be a loss if we continue to live and come out of this. The find we've made, if we can get it under control, is important enough.
Isn't everybody in camp trying to figure that out?
Huh. What do you think, Garry? We're confident we can win out, but not too happy about it, I guess.
Confident, did you say, Doc?
I don't want anybody coming here. I'll cook my own food. Connant may be human now, but I don't believe it. I'm going to get out of here, but I'm going to eat. I'm not going to eat any food you send me. I want cans. Sealed cans.
Okay, Blair, we'll bring him tonight.
Get out! Keep away from me, you monster! Keep away from me! Keep away. I won't be absorbed. I won't be.
Leave him alone, all right? We'll have to fix the door, I think. Look, if he gets loose, his avowed intention to kill each and every one of us, quickly as possible. Something I'm personally not comfortable with. but we got something on our side. On our side of that door, that if it gets worse than a homicidal maniac, if one or the other has to get loose, I think I'll come over here and open the door myself.
And I've been looking forward to getting away from this blasted hole in the ice.
I wouldn't try it right now. Anyone that sets out from here in the next few days is going to be marvelously unpopular.
I've been wondering, if Connant were changed, would she have warned us so soon after the animal escaped? Wouldn't she have waited long enough for it to have a real chance to fix itself?
No, the thing is selfish. You didn't think it looked as though it was possessed of a sense of higher justices, did you? Every part of it is all of it. Every part of it is all for itself. If Connant were changed to save her skin, she'd have to, but Connant's feelings aren't changed. They're imitated perfectly, or they're her own. Naturally, the imitating perfectly Connant's feelings would do exactly what Connant would do.
Say, couldn't you give Connant some kind of aptitude test? If that thing is brighter than we are, it might know more physics than Connant should, and they'd catch it out.
Not if it reads minds. You can't plan a trap for it.
This is your plan to make life happy? Each of us with an eye on the others to make sure they don't do something peculiar? Aren't we gonna be a trusting bunch? Each one of us eyeing their neighbor with the grandest expedition of faith and trust. I'm beginning to know what Connant meant by, I wish you could see your eyes. Every now and then we all have it. One of you looks around with a sort of, I wonder if the other three are look.
Mac, you were pre-med before you took up meteorology, weren't you? Can you make some kind of test?
Well, I know I'm human, and of course I can't prove it, but something Doc said, something we could test on the dogs, and now the dog's there.
Why hasn't the monster destroyed us, do you suppose? It seems to be loose.
Elementary, my dear Watson. The monster wants to have life forms available. It can't animate a dead body. So, just waiting until the best opportunities come. We who remain human, holding us in reserve.
Hey, Mac, would I know if I was a monster? Would I know if the monster had already got me? Oh man, I may be the monster already.
You'd know.
But we wouldn't.
McReady, you were saying about the dogs?
Mac, the dogs must have swallowed pieces of the monster and the pieces destroyed them. The dogs were where the monster resided. I was with you. Doesn't that prove that?
It doesn't.
We are helpless because we don't know enough, and so jittery we don't think straight. Ever watch a white corpuscle of the blood go through the wall of a blood vessel? No? It sticks out a pseudopod. And there it is on the far side of the wall.
You want to test? I shoot it through the heart and it doesn't die, it's a monster. That's the best test I can come up with right now.
Dogs left. It has to imitate us now. And locking up doesn't do any good. Your test might work, Mac, but I am sure you won't get any volunteers.
The Spirit of the Lord come down. Let the Spirit of the Lord come down.
I don't mind having to cook, but isn't there some way to stop all the praying?
Look,
Come down.
I'm afraid not.
Spirit of the
I
Lord.
can go for her, I suppose, but we don't have an unlimited supply of Halidol. And she's not lost her mind, she's just...
The power of the Lord.
Well, we're all in danger of losing ours. You've been out for an hour and a half. That's been going on steadily ever since. And it was going on for 2 hours before. There's a limit, you know?
Let the power of the Lord from heaven come down.
You could stop that. I think it would be a good policy, Mac. There are tensions enough in this room. We agreed that it would be safe for Kinner in there because everyone else in camp is under constant eyeing. And try, for God's sake. Find some test that will work.
Garry, one, watched or unwatched. Everybody here's tense.
Is there no other test? Chemicals. What about chemical tests?
Our chemistry lab, it's not that well equipped. I tried the microscope.
Monster dog and real dog were identical, but what else do we have to go on?
Come down.
Kenner, will you stop that noise? She's driving me nuts.
Not likely.
She hasn't stopped for a second. She thinks God can't hear her very well all the way down here.
Huh? Maybe God can't. Or else he would have done something about this thing loosed from hell.
Somebody's going to try that test you mentioned if you don't stop her. I think a cleaver in the head would be as positive a test as a bullet in the heart.
Let the Spirit of the Lord come down. Let the Spirit down. Let the Spirit of the Lord from heaven come down.
Just have to take that till her voice wears out. She can't go on like that forever.
She's got a brass throat and a cast iron larynx. Then we could be hopeful to suggest she's one of our friends. In that case, she could go on renewing her throat till doomsday.
You sit as still as a bunch of graven images. You don't say a word, but oh, what expressive eyes you've got. They roll around like a bunch of glass marbles spilling down a table. They wink and blink and stare and whisper things. Can you guys look somewhere else for a change, please?
I don't think so.
Come down.
Kinner. She stopped.
For Pete's sake, she may have stopped to listen. We've got to see.
If you're gonna open that door, have Connant do it.
Come again?
I'll check on her. Dear God!
What did you see?
What?
Haven't we got enough grief here? Somebody's tried to help us out. Kinner had a knife in her throat. Now we've got monsters and murderers.
Is Blair loose?
Blair is not loose, or he flew in. Wonder how many more monsters we have. If somebody could slip out of their place, go to the galley and back again. They did come back, didn't they? Yeah, we're all here. Well, if any of you could do that, then...
A monster did it. There's that possibility.
Monster, as you pointed out, has only us left to imitate. Now, would it decrease its supply, shall we say? No. Just have a plain, ordinary louse, a murderer to deal with. Ordinarily, we'd call him an inhuman murderer, I suppose, that we have to distinguish now. We have to an inhuman murderers, and now we have human murderers, or at least one.
And there's one less human. Maybe the monsters have the balance of power now.
Never mind that. I'm making certain. Dinner! Well, whoever did it can speak up now. They weren't an inhuman murderer at that, considering they murdered an inhuman. I swear by all that's holy, Kinner was a lifeless corpse on the floor when I arrived in there. When I found I was going to torch it, it changed.
Good Lord, those things can act. God, sitting in here for hours and hours, singing prayers to a God it hated, muttering hymns in a cracked voice, hymns about a religion it never believed in, driving us mad with its ceaseless praying. Well, speak up, whoever did it. You didn't know it, but you did the camp a favor, and I want to know how in blazes you got out of that room without anybody seeing you. Just might help in guarding ourselves.
It was praying. It was a monster.
Connant, you were sitting right next to the door, weren't you?
Yeah. It's quiet now. It's dead. Mac, your test was no damn good. It was dead anyway. Monster or human, it was dead and it came back.
Everyone meet Connant. The only one we know is human. Meet Connant, the one who proved she's a human by trying to commit murder and failing. Will the rest of you please refrain from trying to prove you're human for a while? I think I have another test.
A test? Will it work as well as the last one?
Now, look sharp and be careful, all right? Watch every neighbor. By the hell these monsters come from, I've got something. And they know it. They're gonna get dangerous.
What is the test? How long will it take?
I don't know exactly, but I know it'll work. No two ways about it. Depends on the basic quality of the monsters, not on us. Kenner just convinced me of that.
Listen, selfish from hell they came, and hellish, shellfish. I mean, do I? What do I mean?
We'll know presently. Selfish is what you mean, all right. You may have thought of it, but I didn't stop to think about what dreams you might be having. But that's all right. Selfish is the word. They must be, you see.
Selfish?
Selfish. And as Dr. Norris pointed out, every part is a whole. Every piece, it's a self-sufficient, an animal in itself. That and one other thing tells the story. There's nothing mysterious about blood, okay? Just as normal as a body tissue, as a piece of muscle or a piece of liver. But it hasn't so much connective tissue. It has millions, billions of life cells. This is satisfying in a way, and I'm pretty sure we humans still outnumber you others. Others standing here, and we have what you, your otherworld race, evidently doesn't. Not an imitated, but a pure-bred, in-the-bone instinct. A driving, unquenchable fire that's, well, it's genuine. And we'll fight. We'll fight with a ferocity you may attempt to imitate, but you'll never equal. We're human. We're real. You're the imitations. False to the core of every cell. All right. Showdown now.
What do you have in mind, Mac?
Blood is tissue, right? Now, they have to bleed. And if they don't bleed when caught in, by heaven, phony. Phony from hell. If they bleed, then that blood separated from them is a newly organized individual. It's in its own right. But just as they split, all of them from one original are individuals. Do you get it? Do you get it, Connant? You see the answer, Doc?
The blood will not obey. It is a new individual with all the desire to protect its own life that the original, the main mass from which it has split, has. The blood will live and try to crawl away from a danger like a hot needle.
Right. Now, Dr. Norris, suppose you're the first on this. You ready? Let's have some blood.
Okay, let's do this.
So glad it's you, Dr. Norris.
Why, thank you.
As yet, my theory hasn't been actually proven, though, but I have hopes. I have hopes. Never mind. I think then that I'll try to show you what I already know. That I, too, am human. Connant was right. The Huskies watching that thing in the corridor bin had nothing on you. I wonder why they think the only wolf blood has the right to ferocity. Maybe on spontaneous viciousness, a wolf takes tops, but after these 7 days, abandon all ye hope, you wolf to enter here. Maybe we can save time. Connant, would you step forward, please?
You're not gonna do that to me! Ha!
Connant was one of the finest people we had here, and 5 minutes ago I'd have sworn she was human. Those damnable things are more than imitation.
Oh, look at the blood's trying to escape. It's Garry's. Mac, get him! Burn this new thing! So, we're the last of it?
Yes.
Where are we going to take those things?
Outside. Outside on the ice where we got 15 smashed crates. And presently we'll add 10 gallons of kerosene. We're going to incinerate those things.
Sounds like a good plan. I wonder, you haven't said whether Blair responded.
Suppose we can cure him now.
If it can imitate
A madman? Or praying hysteria? Norris, we've got to make an expedition to Blair's shack. Blair! Blair, are you still with us?
Can you see anything through that crack in the door?
It isn't Blair. That thing, it's kneeling on something. Something on the bunk, something that keeps rising off the bed. Whatever it's working on, it's in a knapsack. It defies gravity. We both go in at once.
No, wait, McReady. Hang back and get that flamethrower ready. It may have weapons. On 3. 1, 2, 3! Watch out for that tentacle!
Oh, no, you don't! Look at the hate in its eyes. Nothing left.
Sure it didn't split.
But other things to think about. What was it doing?
Oh, aren't we wise? Break the planes and the vehicles and leave that thing alone for a week in this shack. Alone and undisturbed.
What is that?
I'll leave for
Table.
investigation. But I can guess pretty well. That's a neat little thing for doing what men have been trying to do with 100-ton cyclotrons. It separates neutrons from heavy water, which he was getting from the surrounding ice. It's atomics.
Where did he get it all? Of course. The monster, it couldn't be locked in or out. He's been going in and out of the apparatus caches. What minds this race must have. I mean, look at the shimmery sphere. I think it's a sphere of pure force. Neutrons and can pass through any matter. He wanted a supply, a reservoir of neutrons. Just protect neutrons against silica, calcium, beryllium, almost anything. The atomic generator in that knapsack. Got to be some sort of anti-gravity device.
The light's cold, but it gives off heat to warm the place through that coil. He had all the power in the world. He could keep it warm and pleasant, as his race thought of warmth and pleasantness. Did you notice the light, the color of it?
Beyond the stars. That's the answer. From beyond the stars, it came hotter than from a hotter planet and circled a brighter, bluer sun. That's where they came from. There won't be any more coming, I guess. Sheer accident that it landed here in the first place, and 1,000,000 years ago. What was it all for?
I don't know, but by the grace of God, who evidently does here very well, even down here, we keep our world and the planets and the system too, because this thing came from another sun. It came from a world with a bluer sun.
All right then. We've 3 weeks before the rescue party gets here. Only we'll both be dead by then if we don't get the snowcat running.
I destroyed the capacitor.
You thought you might? That could be a problem there.
That's right. You could freeze, man.
Yes, Norris. You could freeze.